Hello, everyone. Guess what? We are back with another YouTube Live. It's been a bit of a while, so it's good to see you all again. Now, I might be a little bit blue, just because I'm wearing a blue shirt and that's the kind of mood I'm feeling in. Today is going to be a fantastic stream for you. I'm joined by Paul Koulos, who is our creative director at LA Photo Party. Hey, Paul, there he is. Fantastic. We're going to be discussing how we do some of the crazy activations we do in PBU. Paul has an immense amount of wealth, talent, and experience, and he's going to walk us through some of the settings we can do, walk us through an activation, and reveal some tips, tricks, and secrets on how you can maximize how all of this works. Paul, how you doing?
I'm so flattered. You said I have an immense amount of wealth. I have so much wealth. Hi, everybody. I'm Paul. If we haven't met before, I've worked for LA Photo Party since 2010. I've been at many a PBX, except the last one. I've been able to be a part of this company for a long time and see it grow from its infancy to where we are today. Needless to say, I've had the opportunity to have my hands in this software a lot, and it's a lot of fun to kind of creatively problem solve along with this software. So today we're going to work on a PBU graphic that I made a few years ago for one of our event clients. We didn't end up using this particular one, but they loved the mock-up, and it was a really fun process to put together and figure out how PBU could accomplish the effect that we were going for. So what we're going to be, I'll show you a sample. This is what we're going to be creating. It's like this silhouette effect. So that's the guest's silhouette, and within that silhouette is kind of a distant photo of another silhouette. It's a silhouette within a silhouette of the guest. So you can see like that's their silhouette with inside of that one silhouette. I said silhouette about 1 million times in that explanation. Okay, cool. So we're gonna design that graphic. We're gonna import that graphic into PBU, and then we're gonna make the sample itself.
Good.
If you're interested in following along with graphics, you can go to laphotoparty.com/silhouette, download the graphics there, and do this along with me or at a later time. So, also silhouette, such a hard word to spell.
It's such a hard word to spell. It's such a hard word to say. It's a bit of a tongue twister in and of itself, but you're doing a fantastic job. All right, so Paul, I will let you take it away. I'm going to sit in the background here and nod enthusiastically for everything.
Perfect. Cool. So I came up with this idea first when I was digging around on Pinterest, which is where I often go to kind of find visual stimulus for ideas. Where do you all go for visual stimulus? Put those in the comments. I want to hear about where you go to get creative for your events. I'm going to share my screen here. Boop. All right. And so I found a sample on Pinterest of this silhouette effect, and I thought it'd be really cool. And I knew that we could do it in PBU. I just needed to kind of do the, mental gymnastics to figure out how I could put this together. So here's what we're going to do. If you go again to the link here, laphotoparty.com/silhouette, you will have these graphics you see here on the screen. Boop. All right. There's a few backgrounds in here. These are just some different options for you to try. I downloaded these from bigstock.com, which is where we use all of our, that's where we get a lot of our stock footage for designs and stuff like that. I highly recommend them. We're not getting any sort of money from them for endorsing them, but it's a good resource and they have a fair subscription price. So boom. And then you got a sample photo of me that you're also going to use here in these samples today. So what you'll also need to follow along today is Photoshop and PBU on the same computer. If you don't already, and if you're a user of PBU and you don't already use PBU on your home computer to configure events, I highly recommend you do. It's really helpful to set up your event before you go to the party, test your graphics. It's super easy to do. And then you can just export that PBU, put it on a flash drive, and then upload it into your photo booth without having to have any sort of concern when you get on site. Everything's kind of all set for you. But you'll also, to accomplish this graphic today, need to have Photoshop and PBU running on your photo booth. So make sure that, the good thing is if you have a Photoshop account, you typically can you'll have two activations that you can use. So you'll have one you can use on your computer, and you can use the other license on your photo booth, which is great. So let's go to Photoshop. So we're gonna open all of these. You can see I've already opened them all these different backgrounds here. We're gonna stick first with the graphic that I had in the samples I showed you earlier. And we're gonna get started by making our background for that distant shot. So to do that, I'm gonna go to File, New. Most of our designs we make for print are 1200 by 1800 pixels. The resolution doesn't really matter because we're doing it by pixels. So that's typically a high enough pixel ratio so that you're getting a high quality print when you print it on site. So hit Create, and then let's go to that Milky Way photo here. And I'm just gonna copy this by, edit, or I usually hit Control A, but you can select all if you want. And then Control C, we'll go back to our document here and paste it, and it's way too big. So we're gonna resize it by just dragging it until we find the artwork, and then we're gonna position it where we wanna see that beautiful sky and that dark floor landscape. Something like this. I kind of dig that. Next, what we're gonna do, I have to pull up my notes because I have lots and lots of notes and I don't wanna miss anything. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna desaturate this graphic so that we get that effect. There's a couple ways you can desaturate a photo. You can just hit Control U, and that'll bring up the hue saturation menu. If you're like me and you get concerned about your effect, going back and wanting to change your effects, you can go down here, right here by the layers panel, and click down here, and you can just go to hue saturation here, and this effect will just affect that photo. And we can just drag down the saturation here and desaturate it. Let's do it that way for right now, because that's what I already did. We're gonna click on that one more time here, and then go over to Levels, click Levels, and we're gonna change the shadows here to 23. We're gonna change the midtones to 1.32, and we're gonna change that highlight number to 219. And there we go. And then in the sample, I don't know if you remember, but we had a gradient effect. That one was a green to an orange, but today we're gonna do LA Photo Party's primary colors, in addition to black and white, and use our pink and blue. So we're gonna go to gradient down here and click here on the gradient fill area, and we're gonna edit these colors. Let me know if I'm going too fast. If I'm going too fast, say something in the comments. Let me know. We're gonna adjust the first color stop here and make that 009 FD6. That's our blue. And then we're gonna make sure the opacity is turned all the way up here on this graph, on this color stop here, and change that second color stop to our pink. E6007D. Boom. I have those memorized. That's how often we use these colors. I have those hex codes memorized in my brain. Okay. Well, okay. We're gonna go angle these a little bit. So we're gonna put these on a 45, 47. Let's see if we can snap that right into 45 degrees. There we go. Negative 45 degree angle. Hit OK. Then what you're gonna do is click on that gradient fill, and we're gonna go and click and go to overlay. I play in Photoshop so much that sometimes I go a little fast. So again, Just let me know if I'm blowing through this faster than you're used to. And I'm also used to doing hotkeys. Hotkeys are life-saving, so I highly recommend utilizing those as much as possible. They just make your Photoshop experience so much quicker. All right. So now that we have this graphic, this is pretty much all we need. The important thing when you're choosing a background for this effect is that you want this bright area down here, right in the center, because that's where the black silhouette of the guest is going to go. So the brighter the better. If we had, made this layer, I don't know why we would do this, but upside down, like this effect would not work like this unless you wanted to do a white silhouette, which you can also do in PBU, and I can show you how to do that later. But brightness is really good, and I actually really like that this graphic has this black ground here as well, which will be great for hiding the guest's feet. It just gives them a plane to like stand on. It really sells the effect when we do it. So I'm going to save this. So we'll say File, Save, Save. Oh yes, and we want to apply that transformation. So apply. And we're going to save this in the folder that I have here. And we'll go to YouTube Live and we'll create a new folder. I should have done this beforehand. You're seeing me do it now. We'll put this in silhouette and space. Okay. And we'll call this background 1 because we might make some more backgrounds. Save it as a copy. And a JPEG, and whoops, we gotta go to that new folder that we just made. I'm in the wrong folder. We're gonna go there. YouTube Live. Nope, wrong one. Is this the right folder? There we go. Save. Great. And while we're here, I'll just make a couple other options that we might want to play with later. So I found this like fun little sample here of like a foresty kind of fairy tale experience. I thought this would be kind of fun as well. So let's copy this one over to that as well. So I'm hit Control A or select all by going to select and then all up here, Control C, and then we're going to just plop this down here. And we certainly don't need to have this pink effect. Let's keep the pure colors in this one. Just gonna frame it up, something like this. I haven't tested this one, everybody, so we're gonna test this one together. It's gonna be really exciting. I think it'll look cool. Maybe that bird will look even better when it's next to a silhouetted guest. I think also what's important for this effect to be really sold, by the way, is this idea of the subject in the center being backlit. So it, like you can see here, the sun is shining from the front, and the guest is going to be in the center. And the idea is that they're in this like cave in this picture. So the fact that you're able to, it makes more sense that the guest would be entirely black and in silhouette. So that's why I think this background is also a cool option. But we'll save this. So File, Save As a copy, and then make it a JPEG and background 2. Bada bing, bada boom. And then let's do one more. Let's do, not that one, this one. This one's kind of like a strange horror movie like effect. A little bit creepier, a little bit of a different tone. So let's see how this one will work. Again, didn't test this one ahead of time because you know what? We're going to do it live and we're going to find out if we like this effect together. You could also probably do something like really abstract. That might be kind of cool too. Like if we just did some bright, vibrant colors and threw a silhouette on top of it. All right. And I'm going to save this. So File, Save As a copy, JPEG, and we're going to call this one background 3. Heyo. Okay. That is our backgrounds. And I'm just going to save this PSD real quick too. It's just our backgrounds. Nice. Okie dokie. We're going to close this. We don't need that open anymore. Close these as well. Yeah, we don't need that. And what we're going to open next is the other image that I had sent you as well, which is that profile image of myself. So let me find that picture. That is in here. So we have the sample photo of me, and this is what we're going to use to create our Photoshop action. So this is basically just a test photo from the camera that we're using in the photo booth. It can be really any image of a guest in front of a plain backdrop, given the way that we're going to be making this. So yeah, this is just something I used to test it out and make sure that it would work well in PBU. So if you're not familiar with creating actions, it's a really cool way in just using Photoshop in general to replicate an action over and over and the same effect on multiple photos. But you can also use Photoshop actions with PBU and can really accomplish some really neat, innovative things that render instantly and that your guests can upload and share, which is kind of what we try to do with all of our graphics. We want everything to be instantly processed so the guests don't have to wait too long to get their output. So when conceiving how the workflow of this was going to work, I needed to keep that instant factor kind of the forefront of my mind. Like we couldn't have any sort of like post-production editing happen. It had to all happen in the software automatically so that it could go straight to the sharing stations and the guests could get it, moments after having taken their photo. That way it's more viable for our event clients to use. So this Photoshop action is how I did that. And this is how we're going to do it. So if you've never done one before, buckle up. So go to Window, Actions, and that's going to pull up your Actions menu here. You can see here I did a test earlier with Silhouette, and I'm going to make the screen a little bit bigger. And we're not going to use that test. We're going to make one all on our own. And I'm nervous because if you've never made an action before, every single step is really important. It's all really, you want to be efficient in your making your actions, so you don't want to mess up a step. And if you miss a step, the effect won't work. So anyway, we're going to do that though. So to start making a new action, we're going to go create new set. So click this little folder icon here in the actions panel, and we'll call ours YouTube Silhouette. Okay. And then we're going to start making the new action. So it's going to be inside this folder here. Right next to that folder icon is a plus icon. That's to start making a new action. As soon as I click this, it's going to start recording every single move I make in Photoshop until I click stop. So from this point forward, we want to make sure that everything we're doing in the software, we want to be replicated in PBU. So let's do this really slowly and by the numbers. Hit that button. We'll call this Silhouette space. You can call yours whatever you want. Get creative. Put your alternative names in the comments below. Let's see here. So we're gonna first select our marquee tool. Click here on the marquee tool in the tools panel. And then we're gonna go to make sure that our background image here, the image that came in that we're testing here, is selected. Then go to select and mask. That's gonna bring up this selection properties window. All we're gonna do is go up here at the top of Photoshop. It says select subject up here. I'm just gonna click that. It's gonna select the subject. And there we go. Did a pretty good job. That's what we wanna do. We'll hit OK. Then we're gonna inverse the selection. If you know the hotkey, it's Control-Shift-I, but otherwise you can go to Select, Inverse, and then we're going to make a mask channel basically on this background. So that's going to make Paul in this photo disappear. So you create that mask channel by just clicking this button down here in the bottom, and that'll make a mask channel. The next thing we're going to do is make a new layer. So you can hit Control-Shift-N, or you can go to Layer, New, Layer. And that's fine. We don't need to name it. Then what we're going to do is put a fill in this layer. So we'll go to Edit, Fill, White. You can select white here. There's other options as well if you want to do black or gray or a custom color. But we're just going to use white today. So hit OK. And then what we're going to do is create a clipping mask using this layer. So right-click on layer 1 that we just created, and then create clipping mask. And that there has created the white silhouette effect that we're going to use in PBU. And that's all we needed to do with that action. So we'll click Stop here in the Actions panel. Stop. And now we can save our action. It's already saved here in Photoshop, but if you haven't saved an action before, click on that folder. So the YouTube silhouette folder that I just made here. Go into the top right hamburgers menu here. We'll click that and we'll hit Save Actions. So that'll save this action, and we'll save this in that folder that we just made, YouTube Live, and we'll call this one YouTube Silhouette. Sure, that's great. I like that name. Great. I'm going to close that. You don't need to save this anymore. And minimize Photoshop, but keep it open if you're doing the test along with me, because you'll want to use that when we're in PBU. PBU will need to open Photoshop to run the action. So this is kind of the fun part. This is where we build the PBU. This is how we put all of it together. Oh, wait. There's one more thing I forgot to make in Photoshop. Whew, that could have been bad. So we're going to go to Create New. There's one more element here that we need to make this effect work. And I'm glad I wrote notes, because I would have found this out in a few moments after the fact. So we'll go to a new layer here. The width will be 1200. The height will be 1800. Hit OK. And we're going to make just a quick background layer. It can be any color, but since we're doing something, we basically want it to be a vibrant color that will make the selection of the guest when we run the action easy to accomplish. So typically, I would just choose a color that's akin to that chroma key green. So let's click that gradient fill tool here, or if you could just click G. That's your hotkey, or paint bucket tool, I should say. Paint bucket tool. If you click G, it's right there. And we'll set that primary color to the one here, 45 B as in beta, B as in beta, 6-3. Click OK. And then let's fill it. Why didn't it fill? Why aren't you filling? One second here. There we go. I created the new layer and then built that. So we'll save this as green background. Copy, JPEG, and we'll save this. And this background's folder here. Click OK. Okay, now I promise you we can go into PBU and start building the thing. Here we go. So let's open up PBU. I got PBU open right here already. And let's go into the settings menu. To get to the settings menu, click S. And we can start configuring our graphics. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is load in our Photoshop action. So you would click on the Filters tab here at the top, and then click on Photoshop action. And you can see here we already have the one that I tested earlier, but we're going to use the one that we made. So click Open File in the top right corner here. Then we're going to go, let's find our folder. And we named ours YouTube Silhouette. Open that. And that's, make sure you have your version of Photoshop. This works with past versions as well. So if you're using a non-updated version, you can use any one of these. I have Creative Cloud 2021, so I'm going to use that. And then let's start building our the two photos that we're going to be taking for this graphic. It's going to be two pictures on top of each other. So we're going to go to the green screen panel here on the top, like that. Here are the other two, again, that I tested. We'll click on Create New Green Screen. And this first one we're going to make, is going to be our first photo, which is the distant photo. So I'm just going to call this 1/distant. And we're going to load in that cool background that we made. And that was in Silhouette and Space. And that is it. You can see what that looks like here if we click Photo. And so we need to create that silhouette effect that we were talking about. To do that, we go to use these settings here below and drag down the brightness all the way till it goes to black. Just like that. And I'm going to resize this because we want the guests to be small, like they're just a little person right in the distance here in the middle of this beautiful landscape. Cool beans. That's all we needed. Hit OK. And that's our first photo. The second one we're going to make here is the white silhouette. So to make that, we're going to create a second green screen, create new green screen. And here is where we're going to put that green background in. So I click in the background, click green background. I think that's all we need to. Oh, and then we're going to apply the Photoshop action, that Photoshop action that we selected earlier. And I believe that's all we need to do here. Just apply that, and it's going to apply it to the entire graphic that comes in here. So we'll click, oh, and let's name this. We'll name it 2 close-up. Whatever you name these, just make sure that it's easy to identify so that when we make our page design in a moment here, it's going to be easy for you to make sure they're in the right order. I click OK. All right. Let's see. Now we're going to go over to our page design. Page design. You can see the old one I made here, but we're going to create a new one. You want page designer mode to be on auto apply. And if I didn't say it earlier, you want your green screen to be disabled. The only thing you need to make this graphic work is page design auto apply enabled, and it will walk the guest through the process automatically. So let's create a new page layout. And we'll name it Silhouette and Space. If you don't know how to spell silhouette by this point, I'm going to be real disappointed because we've spelled it about like 9 times already. The page size is going to be 4 by 6. So click 4 by 6. We're going to have 2 photo holders. So let's make that first one. That's going to be our, this is going to be our distant photo. So we'll say, step away from the camera. So no, that's too many words. How should I word this? Show us your full body. There's a better way to say this. But basically, you want to make sure that you can give instructions through PBU on what the guest needs to do before this photo. That's going to make sure that the guest is all the way against the green screen so we can see them from head to toe. And we're going to use distant. We can choose which green screen we're going to use. We're going to use number 1 here, distant. So click 1 distant and click OK. And we're going to size this graphic. You can select, you just select it here, put it in the center here. Use that M and N key if you want to resize it. So M will maximize, N will make it smaller, minimize, or you can just drag that handle here. I'm going to drag the handle. And then once we get a little closer, I'm going to use that N key to get to straight at 100%. And then you can use the up and down arrows and the left, right to get it just right. Boop, 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 boop. That's good. I love it. Great. That's photo number 1. On top of that photo is going to be photo number 2. So we're going to do the same process, 2 by 3. Get close to the camera. And we're going to select our green screen 2 close-up. And we're going to click OK. And we're just going to resize this one again so it's 100%. Hit that M button if you want, or just drag it and make sure that it's right at 100%. There we go. And now I'm just going to play with the arrow keys on my keyboard until I get it right where I want it. I'm happy with this. And we want to make sure that the number 2 here is on top. So I'm going to actually go to the photo holders here and drag number 1 right underneath it. Wait a minute. Can I not do that? There we go. Perfect. Because basically we want to make sure that, am I doing this right? No. Am I doing this right? Paul, think. The one on top needs to be the close-up. Number 2, yeah, I did this right. Boom. Oh, there we go. The full body's in the back, close-up's on the front. That's how it's got to be done to run smoothly. Okay, so click OK. And since we're auto-applying, we get to choose which one we're going to use. We're going to use the second one here that I made. Hit select. And now I need Vivi to come upstairs so that he can help me run a sample. So Vivi is going to come up here and we're going to test out these graphics. All right. Make sure our camera can see everything here. I have a green screen set up right next to my desk, which is super convenient. Hey there, Vivi. Vivi will pop out in front of the camera here. And we're going to take a couple photos. So the first photo here is going to be our distance shot. So Vivi, maybe put your hands up on your hips. There we go. I like that. Like you're looking up at the sky. Perfect. And here we go. 3, 2, 1. And awesome. And if you wanted to, you could edit the photo, drag Vivi around. If you wanted to, if this was visible, this chair here, you could go to green screen retouch, click that, make sure that remove is selected, and then just paint that out. And then reposition Vivi to be exactly where you need it. So that's right in the center here. I love it. Click OK. Hit accept. That's our first photo. And now the moment of truth. Vivi, please step in. We have a chair kind of set right close to the camera. If you were to do this effect, I would highly recommend you do the same. Also, if you don't use this feature, it's one of my favorite features that makes doing custom graphics like this really great. The dragging feature. So I can just drag Vivi around here until I get the right position of his body in front of the camera. So like I'm just going to move here. I'm going to maybe make this a little bit bigger. Drag this right about here. Awesome. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to take this and it's going to focus on Vivi and snap that. And now it's going to open up. Basically what's happening now is Photoshop is opening and running in the background, and Vivi is running out of here right now. And it's processing. It's running that action that we just created earlier, and it's going to create that white silhouette effect like it just did right here. And if you needed to reposition, you could go to that edit photo button and reposition it, the photo so that it would process in the position you wanted. But we got this to work just right. So I'm going to click accept, and there we go. That's our sample. It worked. Worked the first time. I'm so relieved. It's super exciting to do these YouTube lives, but you know, technology is sometimes unpredictable. So that's how you can create this kind of effect. If you want to play around with me a little bit longer, we can try and test that same graphic out with a couple different backgrounds. just to see what it looks like. So let's go back to the settings screen, green screen. Let's go to our distant photo. Let's change that background image to, let's try this fairy tale one. Hit OK. Also, why don't I, there we go, get rid of that. So our green screen is keyed out, hit OK. I'll be in this sample. Oh wait, no, Vivi, are you coming up? Perfect. Vivi's gonna be our model once more. Perfect. So on this one, yeah, I like that. We're gonna click photo here. We're gonna put Vivi right in there. I should have resized this one, but all right. He's looking so menacing right now. Hold on one second. All right, and let's just affect the key here a little bit. Fix those settings. Actually, I'm gonna turn this down. There we go. There we go. And then get a little bit softer. And then resize. And I'm gonna do some erasing. So we can do some retouching to get rid of that chair. Get rid of some of the shadow in here. Do a little bit more detail work. If we had a little bit more time, I would have made sure that we wouldn't have gotten this many shadows in the green screen, but this is good for testing. You all get the point. I'm gonna resize them even a little bit more because I think that'll look better with the silhouette. Just a man in nature is what this is. Click OK, hit accept. We're gonna do our second photo once more. I should have fixed that live preview to be a little bit better, but that's okay. Chin up a little bit this time, Vivi. Yeah, I love it. It's running that action once more time in the background. So let's see how this looks. I dig it, hit accept. And there's another version of it. Ooh, I love this tree effect in his face. That looks so cool. The sunlight works with the angle of his head. This could be a really good one for the clients, y'all. I'm just saying. Let's do one more. We're gonna do that creepy one. Hopefully that looks cool. Or maybe it'll give us all nightmares. So we're just gonna change that background one more time. All right, this is our horror film effect. I'm just gonna resize this a little bit. And I'm gonna fix our threshold here so I can see Vivi. That's more important to me right now. Perfect. We're gonna click OK. Awesome, so that's Vivi's creepy look here. All right, I like it. Just gonna edit this really quick as well. Do that little bit of retouching. Make that brush a little bit bigger. Great, hit OK. That's good enough for me for right now. And now our silhouette photo. Vivi, sit forward just a little bit. Awesome. Just gonna resize you. Get Vivi in the right position. Can you grit your teeth in this one? Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what we're saying with this artwork right now. If you want to title this last piece, put it in the comments below. Who knows? Maybe it'll be really sad if at the end of this video there are no comments after all the comment suggestions I've been asking you to make. Okay, I like this. We're seeing it, the outline of his face, the gritting of his teeth. I dig it. We'll hit accept. Ooh, that's interesting. That's really interesting. That's really fun. So that is how you can use PBU to make some really cool, fun effects like this. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, our team here at support@laphotoparty.com. If you make one of these and you want to share your photo with us, tag us on Instagram at LA_photoparty. That is a great place to go to, and we'll share yours with the social world. And then if you want to, if you have suggestions for things you want to see us try to do with PBU, graphics that you want to see how you could make happen for your clients using Photo Booth Upload, put them in the comments, tag us, let us know what you're thinking, and we'll try to find a solution for it. So without Vivi, is there anything else you want to say before we sign off here?
Well, Paul, I just wanted to say that was a lot of fun. Past Vivi, teleported straight up into the studio. It was such a blast, and it's really, really fantastic to have you as part of our team and doing some really, really cool things. I have nothing else to add, really. I had a fantastic time, and I hope everyone who's watching learned something from this today. There's so much you can do within PBU, our software ecosystem, and how creative you can get. This one was a little bit more involved. However, the results are stunning, and people will be really excited to see it.
Cool. So if you need anything, support.laphotoparty.com is where you go for assistance and questions. And if you want to know more about PBU, I highly recommend getting involved with our Facebook group as well. Or tagging us. We're really responsive. We got a great support team.
We really do. And everyone, keep in mind, we're trying to do these every couple of weeks, so we're looking forward to the next one. Tune in. It will be revealed as to what that is sooner rather than later. And I hope everyone has themselves a fantastic day, and we'll see you again soon.
We'll leave you with this image. There we go.
Yes.
Bye, y'all.